Orientations are about how we begin, how we proceed from here, which affects how what is there appears and how it presents itself. In other words,
and this is so disorienting, but
as coming from different
the
sides.
crooked.
we're at like the base of this
Having different sides.
sphere, and then it all kind of
There's a 0 point of orientation. How we proceed from here, which affects how what is there
and then that gives
appears
us-
and how it presents itself. In other words,
Yes, and then it's a whisper.
Yes. I think this is my favorite part.
Yeah, the
this
shape.
like flesh cave.
that seems to contain the body.
So you're on this middle
Atmosphere creates an impression.
thing, and then that is
Think of goosebumps.
replicated out to the.
Textures on the skin.
Yes. And it was just a glitch. Like I was trying to get it to work quote unquote correctly. But I found when I put multiples in, then stepping on one impacted all the others.
Such responses, which accumulate as impressions of the skin, but rather are shaped by their
Is this from queer phenomenology?
Yes.
What is this? Okay.
Yeah. Queer phenomenology about
is also where the atmosphere
the permeable boundary between the body and the atmosphere around it.
textures on the skin.
Oh yeah. It looks like a sci-fi kind of like containment zone or something.
Yes. Come into my queer sci-fi prison. All the cis people are relegated to come here for mandatory trans acceptance training.
Yes, re-education.
Yes, re-education, yes.
Welcome to the re-education dome.
There are worse places to go.
I'm kind of worried to walk around because I know that at least that spot down there will make me stuck.
Yes.
I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of scared to go in any of these spheres in case I get stuck. But I want to go in some.
In the middle. She slid into a wormhole. Her spine folded. In the middle. She slid into a
Audio,
wormhole.
it's like my voice from
Her
that I
spine
recorded to
folded.
tape loops
In
and
the middle.
repitched. From your,
She
I was
slid
reading
into a wormhole.
things that you wrote,
Her spine folded. Her
looping
spine
them over
folded.
themselves. But you put them in the center of these
In the middle.
spheres.
She
Yeah.
slid
Only
into
hear
a
them when you come in
wormhole.
here.
Her spine folded.
Are you ready to get stuck?
I'm ready.
She kept talking since her perception remained where it had been.
You're
There's
stuck?
no such thing as a normal body here.
I got
was
extra
in the
stuck.
moment with my lover. Her spine folded.
You got
She
what?
slid into
I got extra stuck. I was glitching.
She kept talking since her perception remained where
Oh
it
no,
now
did
I'm
you
like-
capture it?
There's no such
yes.
thing as a
It
normal
was a
body here.
dizzy and glitch.
In the middle.
And now
of
I've
a
glommed
soft
onto your
moment
head.
with my lover. Her spine folded and she slid into a wormhole. She kept talking since her perception remained where it had been.
Yeah, I'm still inside
didn't
my
feel as
body.
weird.
Since her perception
You're outside of
remained
yours?
where it had been.
Yeah, I just
There's
stepped
no
back
such
in my play space.
Oh.
In the middle of a soft
yes.
moment with my lover. Her spine folded and she slid into a wormhole.
Now it's gone. It's like whenever I leave,
She kept talking
glitch out of
since
my
her
body, I have to
perception
bring my
remained
head back
where it had been.
into alignment with my avatar.
There is no such thing as a normal body
to get back
here.
up again.
Should we go to your world? All we need to do is go through the portal.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Oh.
I don't know. Oh,
There's something that'll make you like burst up into the sky. I'm not sure why. Just another happy glitch.
But we should have been together. Both in different instances, but in the same, but alone.
portal time?
Yeah, let's do it.
Both in different instances, but in the same, but alone. The face gasket meets my cheeks. Pink marks trace where the face gasket meets my cheeks. Where the face gasket meets my cheeks. Pink marks trace where the face gasket meets my cheeks.
Is glittery little, I don't know, those remind me of
Yeah, 'cause
eggs
that's
or
the voice.
something, little tadpole eggs. Yeah, and then have the voice.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then I love being able to pick them up and place them on my head and gather them and sort of create this own soundtrack, a soundtrack by shifting my arms around or putting them on someone else's head.
We dance.
So I was trying to figure out different ways to procedurally generate the different forms. And so using geometry nodes in Blender, I could input different image inputs, just flat 2D images, and then the values, and they were grayscale images, and then the values would be mapped to height or displacement of the mesh that they were applied to. So that's how I did that's how I did the spheres, and that's how I did, so those are in your world too. Basically the spheres that we pick up are the spheres that we walk into in your world. Which that's a cool, this is like totally aside, but it's like a disorientation of scale, because you would think like, okay, one world is like we are very small, and then in this world we are very large, like in relationship to the spheres.
Yeah.
But not really. I feel a lot smaller. Well, I feel a lot smaller in your world, but the scales are all kind of, it's not a 1-to-1 kind of ratio. But and then I think this kind of curved form with all of the little wells that you can spawn into, that is checkerboard texture, and then I softened it to make them rounder, so it kind of comes up and down. This round form that you made,
Oh, yeah.
I put it up in the sky and made it float over like a blimp.
Yeah, that was, I found a text to 3D model AI app. And I put in, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something else from Queer Phenomenology. And it was something about an inverted face that, I don't know, like looks queer through its inversion, something along those lines. So it was very abstract text that I put in. And the main, I guess, like subject or the object that it was drawing from is a face, but with all of these strange words around it that then generated this blobby form with some protuberances that now floats across the sky. A queer inverted face is floating across the sky of this beautiful landscape.
This was from a different world you made, a version before this, and I held on to it. There was this moment last fall it was right after I was writing a bunch about VR, and I had to get my HRT renewed, and so I went to Planned Parenthood, and I was very, very broke and could like not afford the medication. So it was like a very intense moment, and I was sitting in the of like, okay, am I gonna work this out or not? And I was sitting in the and it was really intense because it was this like I've been spending all this time in the virtual world. I was working on this avatar and spending so much virtual time, and then like suddenly being in the physical world and like confronted with these realities. And yeah, I was sitting in the exam room and like looking around at all the like um, charts of different genitals and everything, and I was like, this experience is so weird. Like I don't have any kind in the virtual world. Like I can make whatever junk I want, any genitals I want, any body that I want, and show up as any gender and like or not gender or fluid body or glitch or something like that. And here I am like sitting stuck in this room, staring at like you know, I don't have access to financial access to like bottom surgery. I don't have any ability to change these other circumstances. And like, so being in this exam room model that you had was reminded me of that space. Um, so I like to kind of bring it into I like being able to bring it into the virtual and having it be melded into this glitch and kind of taken over.
Yeah.
It kind of brings
Yeah.
that physical experience in here.
Well, and there's something wonderful, I think, about having the agency to then warp it or change it or transform it or make it, I don't know, not feel so oppressive. Because you know this, like I told you the story about why I initially started with the exam room. I was sitting in a gynecology office waiting and waiting and waiting for, like care. And just also like looking at diagrams and charts and it being very binary and hearing the doctor outside the room misgender me and use my given name, which I don't prefer. And was just like sitting there and feeling all of this sort of swirling around me and knowing that it's not true and it doesn't belong to me. And yeah, I just had this moment of, yeah, also reflecting on the virtual space and being like, I know that I'm not what they think I am. I know that these are all just constructs. And then I started noticing all of the holes in the space, like the drain in the sink, the tiles in the ceiling, imagining myself pushing them up and thinking of them all as portals. And just that wonderful feeling of being in VR and, you know, if you don't want to be somewhere, you can create a portal or you can fall through something in a surprising way or you can glitch. And there's this amazing bodily freedom that comes from that. So yeah, I felt like I wanted to bring something of that space in here and just reveal how it's constructed and be playful with it and be like, let's fucking glitch out of the doctor's office.